Welcome to the 2023 Men's Basketball Championship Bracket Reveal. In just a few moments, we will reveal all of the qualifiers for the 85th Annual NAIA Men's Basketball National Championship, set to begin on March 7th for first and second round action at sites throughout the nation. The winners of each will descend on Kansas City beginning on March 13th at the historic Municipal Auditorium. 64 teams will begin their journey to Kansas City, where we will crown the winner on March 18th. The march to the NAIA national title begins now. There are two primary ways that a team can qualify for the national championship field: by receiving either an automatic bid or an at-large bid into the tournament. The number of teams in each league determines the number of automatic bids in each conference. Leagues with 10 or more schools receive 2 automatic berths, while conferences with less than 10 institutions receive 1. Automatic bids are determined by each conference and can include conference regular season champions, regular season runner-ups, tournament champions, or tournament runner-ups, depending on the league. The remaining at-large berths are selected by the NAIA Men's Basketball National Selection Committee, made up of coaches and administrators from around the nation. Now, let's take a look at the first round matchups. Let's get started in the Naismith Quadrant with first and second round games being played in Caldwell, Idaho, hosted by the College of Idaho. The number 1 seed will be the Yotes of the College of Idaho. The Yotes were the Cascade regular season and tournament champions with a record of 30-1. They will take on the number 16 seeded Warriors of Westcliff. The Warriors were the CalPAC tournament champions with an overall record of 18-8. The number 8 seed in the Naismith Quadrant is the Gold Rush of Xavier. The Gold Rush are the Red River Athletic Conference tournament champions with an overall mark of 22-8. They will face off against the number 9 seeded Royals of Hope International. The Royals earned an at-large berth out of the Golden State Athletic Conference with an overall record of 20-10. The next matchups will take place in Alexandria, Louisiana, hosted by Alexandria Pineville Area CVB. The number 5 seed will be the Pilots of LSU Shreveport. The Pilots were the regular season champions of the Red River Athletic Conference with an overall record of 24-7. They will play the number 12 seeded Nighthawks of Thomas. The Nighthawks earned an at-large bid out of the Sun Conference with an overall mark of 17-8. The number 4 seed in the Naismith Quadrant are the Foresters of Huntington. The Foresters grabbed an at-large berth out of the Crossroads with an overall record of 24-7. They will match up against the number 13 seeded Bears of Pikeville. The Bears earned an at-large bid out of the Mid-South with an overall record of 19-12. Our next matchups take us to New Orleans, Louisiana, hosted by Loyola. The number 6 seed will be the Bulldogs of Tougaloo. The Bulldogs claimed the Gulf Coast Athletic Conference tournament title with an overall record of 28-1. They will meet up with the number 11 seeded Eagles of Texas A&M Texarkana. The Eagles joined the tournament field with an at-large berth out of the Red River with an overall record of 22-8. The number 3 seed in the Naismith Quadrant is the Wolfpack of Loyola. The Wolfpack claimed both the Southern States regular season and tournament titles with an overall record of 24-6. They will battle number 14 seeded Lions of Sagoo. The Lions garnered an at-large bid out of the Sooner with an overall record of 20-10. The next matchups will take place in Lakeland, Florida, hosted by Florida College. The number 7 seed will be the Mustangs of the Masters. The Mustangs earned an at-large bid from the GSAC with an overall record of 21-8. They will play the number 10 seeded Bobcats of St. Thomas. The Bobcats snagged an at-large berth out of the Sun with an overall mark of 24-7. The number 2 seed in the Naismith Quadrant are the Falcons of Florida College. The Falcons were the Continental Tournament runners-up and will join the championships with an overall record of 26-5. They will match up against the number 15 seeded Running Eagles of Life. The Running Eagles secured an at-large bid out of the SSAC with an overall record of 19-10. Let's now move to the Kramer Quadrant with first and second round games being played in Oskaloosa, Iowa, hosted by William Penn. The number 1 seed will be the Statesmen of William Penn. The Statesmen won both the Heart of America regular season and tournament titles with an overall record of 28-3. They will face the number 16 seeded Cougars of St. Xavier. The Cougars earned an at-large bid out of the Chicagoland Collegiate Athletic Conference with an overall record of 24-7. The number 8 seed in the Kramer quadrant is the Red Storm of Rio Grande. The Red Storm earned a bid into the tournament as the top overall seed in the River States with an overall mark of 24-6. They will battle the number 9 seeded Knights of Marion. The Knights garnered an at-large bid out of the Crossroads with an overall record of 21-9. Our next matchups will take place in Butte, Montana, hosted by Montana Tech. The number 5 seed will be the Saints of Thomas More. The Saints joined the field with an at-large berth out of the Mid-South with an overall record of 22-8. They will take on the number 12 seeded Mountaineers of Eastern Oregon. The Mountaineers were the Cascade Tournament's 2nd seed with an overall record of 21-10. The number 4 seed in the Kramer quadrant are the Ore Diggers of Montana Tech. The Ore Diggers were the Frontier Tournament champions with an overall mark of 26-4. They will match up against the number 13 seeded Warriors of Westmont. The Warriors grabbed an at-large bid out of the GSAC with an overall record of 17-11. The next matchups will take place in Montgomery, Alabama, hosted by Faulkner. The number 6 seed will be the Bulldogs of Union. The Bulldogs claim the Appalachian Athletic Conference regular season title with an overall record of 27-2. They will battle the number 11 seeded Fire of Southeastern. The Fire won the Sun Conference tournament with an overall mark of 18-12. The number 3 seed in the Kramer quadrant are the Eagles of Faulkner. The Eagles were the Southern States tournament runners-up and entered championship play with an overall record of 26-5. They will face the number 14 seeded Bears of Shawnee State. The Bears grabbed an at-large bid out of the Mid-South with an overall record of 17-12. Our next matchups take us to Park City, Kansas, hosted by the Kansas Collegiate Athletic Conference. The number 7 seed will be the Spirit of Ottawa. The Spirit were the GSAC tournament champions with an overall record of 21-9. They will match up against the number 10 seeded Wildcats of Baker. The Wildcats garnered an at-large berth out of the Heart of America with an overall record of 22-8. The number 2 seed in the Kramer quadrant are the Eagles of Oklahoma Wesleyan. The Eagles claim the KCAC regular season title with an overall record of 26-4. They will battle the number 15 seeded Bulldogs of Concordia. The Bulldogs earned an at-large berth out of the Great Plains with an overall record of 18-12. Let's take a short break, and when we come back, we'll reveal the right side of the bracket right after this.
You know, it's easy to get caught up in emotions around, oh, I feel good, or I feel like I'm getting better, or I feel like I'm getting worse. But having data, big data, over a long stretch of time allows you to actually see your work come into fruition in the form of progress. It just allows you to create a better perspective over your progression. To ignore it entirely is doing yourself a disservice because it's a resource that's available to you.
First time I picked up a Spalding TF ball, I knew it was built different. You know that feeling from that first moment on, it never leaves your hand. It raises you, lifts you to new heights, got you doing things like that. And once you're hooked, ain't nothing gonna stop that. It teaches you to be a student first, to lay it all out, just to do it again.
And again.
From the moment you pick up a TF ball, it's always there for you. Now do something with it.
Welcome back. Moving on now to the Dewar Quadrant, with first and second round games played in Winona Lake, Indiana, hosted by Grace. The number 1 seed will be the Lancers of Grace. The Lancers took home both the Crossroads regular season and tournament titles with an overall mark of 27-3. They will play the number 16 seeded Rams of Columbia International. The Rams were the AAC tournament champions and enter the field with an overall record of 18-13. The number 8 seed in the Dewar Quadrant are the Tigers of Olivet Nazarene. The Tigers claim the Chicagoland regular season championship with an overall record of 23-7. They will battle the number 9 seeded Crusaders of Madonna. The Crusaders were the Wolverine Hoosier tournament champions with an overall record of 24-7. The next matchups will take place in Henderson, Tennessee, hosted by Freed Hardman. The number 5 seed will be the Lions of Freed Hardman. The Lions earned the Mid-South Tournament title with an overall record of 23-8. They will face the number 12-seeded Grenadiers of IU Southeast. The Grenadiers won the River State Tournament championship with an overall record of 23-8. The number 4 seed in the Dora Quadrant are the Defenders of Dort. The Defenders claimed the GPAC tournament title with an overall record of 25-6. They will battle the number 13-seeded Pilots of Bethel. The Pilots snagged an at-large bid out of the Crossroads with an overall record of 17-12. Our next matchups will take us to Georgetown, Kentucky, hosted by Georgetown. The number 6 seed belongs to the Wildcats of Indiana Wesleyan. The Wildcats were the regular season runners-up in the Crossroads with an overall record of 20-9. They will take on the number 11-seeded Pioneers of Mid-American Nazarene. The Pioneers enter the championships with an at-large berth out of the heart of America with an overall record of 20-9. The number 3 seed in the Dora Quadrant are the Tigers of Georgetown. The Tigers claim the Mid-South regular season title with an overall record of 26-5. They will match up against the number 14-seeded Gray Wolves of Lourdes. The Gray Wolves earned an at-large bid out of the Wolverine Hoosier with an overall record of 22-8. The next set of games will take place in Langston, Oklahoma, hosted by Langston. The number 7 seed will be the Mound Builders of Southwestern. The Mound Builders enter the field as the KCAC tournament champions with an overall record of 25-6. They will play the number 10-seeded Red Raiders of Northwestern. The Red Raiders snagged an at-large bid out of the GPAC with an overall record of 20-9. The number 2 seed in the Dora Quadrant are the Lions of Langston. The Lions won both the Sooner regular season and tournament titles with an overall mark of 29-2. They will face the number 15-seeded Raiders of Southern Oregon. The Raiders grabbed an at-large bid out of the Cascade with an overall record of 20-10. Just 16 teams remain as we move to the Liston Quadrant with first and second round games played in Glendale, Arizona, hosted by Arizona Christian. The number 1 seed will be the Firestorm of Arizona Christian. The Firestorm were the regular season champions of the GSAC with an overall record of 24-5. They will face the number 16-seeded Warriors of Corbin. The Warriors earned an at-large berth out of the Cascade with an overall record of 20-10. The number 8 seed in the Liston Quadrant are the Pioneers of Antelope Valley. The Pioneers are the regular season champions of the Cowpack with an overall record of 25-2. They will face the number 9 seed Pioneers of Wayland Baptist. These Pioneers earned an automatic bid as the Sooner Tournament runners-up. The next matchups will take place in Wichita, Kansas, hosted by the KCAC and Visit Wichita. The number 5 seed will be the Coyotes of Kansas Wesleyan. Coyotes earned an at-large berth out of the KCAC with an overall record of 25-4. They will match up against the number 12-seeded Cougars of IU Kokomo. The Cougars grabbed an at-large bid out of the River States with an overall record of 23-8. The number 4 seed in the Liston Quadrant are the Mustangs of Morningside. The Mustangs snagged an at-large berth out of the GPAC with an overall record of 22-7. They will face the number 13 seed, the Cougars of Columbia. The Cougars were the champions of the AMC with an overall record of 23-8. The next matchups in the Liston Quadrant will be played in Jamestown, North Dakota, hosted by the University of Jamestown. The number 6 seed will be the Bobcats of Peru State. The Bobcats earned an automatic berth as regular season runners-up in the Heart. They will face the number 11 seeded Comets of Mayville State. The Comets were the champions of the North Star Tournament with an overall record of 25-5. The number 3 seed in the Liston Quadrant are the Jimmies of Jamestown. The Jimmies were the regular season champions of the GPAC with an overall record of 25-6. They will face the number 14 seed, the Threshers of Bethel out of North Newton, Kansas. The Threshers grabbed an at-large berth out of the KCAC with an overall record of 20-10. The next matchups will take place in Fort Wayne, Indiana, hosted by Indiana Tech. The number 7 seed will be the Tigers of Iowa Wesleyan. The Tigers earned their spot as the tournament champions of the Continental. They will match up against the number 10 seeded Valor of Evangel. The Valor snagged an at-large berth out of the Heart with an overall record of 22-8. The number 2 seed in the listing quadrant are the Warriors of Indiana Tech. The Warriors were the regular season champions of the Wolverine Hoosier with an overall record of 27-3. They will face the number 15 seed, the Titans of IU South Bend. The Titans were the champions of the Chicagoland tournament with an overall record of 23-8. Let's take one more look at the championship field. The 85th Annual NAIA Men's Basketball National Championship gets started on March 7th at first and second round sites throughout the nation, culminating in the NAIA Men's Basketball National Championship final site in Kansas City, Missouri on March 13th. Catch all the action on the NAIA Network and the championship on ESPN3. Thanks for watching, and good luck to all of our qualifiers.